We're back for episode 11.
Woo!
Woo! It's a cry about Ritsu time.
Yeah,
immediately.
we start right off the block. That's like, hey, you want to have some fucking Ritsu feels right in the morning? Here you go.
Time to cry about Ritsu.
Ritsu's terrified of his brother.
Oh boy.
Cry about
and
it.
he's gonna get himself killed over it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of talked about this at length already, but not in the podcast at least yet.
Just in my day-to-day life.
Just in your day-to-day life, that Ritsu definitely has like a very much like self-sacrificing thing with Mob, where he like feels like he has to be the traumatic experience for Mob in order for him to grow, and he kind of like puts himself
like that's
down.
his like role in
like
that's like literally his role like in the narrative, and it's kind of in like a meta way too, it's like he's the he's like the younger brother of the protagonist. He's the one that gets hurt in order to like either to motivate Mob into action, or people hurt Ritsu like to get to Mob, or whatever, and he's like, well, I guess that's all I have to offer.
Right. And like, I mean, I really love where one takes it, like in chapter 100, where he like subverts that trope. And he does that a lot throughout
and
the
where
whole
Ritsu
series.
sort of like realizes that
Ritsu gets some self-worth.
he has more to offer than just getting himself hurt.
Right, exactly.
That he can be an equal to Mob.
The little baby family picture of him with Mob like gave me like
so cute.
It's super cute, but it gave me like a visceral reaction because it's very similar to like the family photo in the first Full Metal Alchemist series, and that like every episode starts with, and I was like, but it's very cute and also incredibly sad at the same time.
No, they're just small.
They are very
so small.
small.
Ritsu was so small this entire episode. He just looked very little.
He is just a baby. And he gets beat up by a blind man. When you put it like that. I love that Sho is like, well, first off, I love that Shimazaki is just standing on the other side of the street just watching them.
Yeah,
and it's
just like,
yeah, I'll let you guys finish
I'll
your talk.
stay here if you guys wanna, I'm gonna let you guys come to me.
Right, exactly. He's like, I'll just stand here menacingly smiling at you two.
This is your out. You should take it.
And Sho's like, be careful, you can teleport.
Well, and he was told to like, defend the base. So he's like, I'll stand right outside of this building, but I'm not gonna go much farther than that.
You have a barrier. As soon as you go over the barrier, that's when I'll attack.
Yeah, like as soon as you cross this little like moat thing that we for some reason have.
Yeah, the little bridge thing. Yeah.
Then I'll get real.
Tochiro's like, we need a moat.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, yes sir, right away, sir. But yeah, so and then like. But yeah, Cho's like, be careful, you can teleport. And Ritsu's like, okay. And then he teleports. He's like, oh, what the fuck?
What?
Oh, what?
This whole episode was just great fight scenes for like.
It really was.
15 of the 24 minutes or whatever.
Right.
So much of it was just nonstop fight scenes.
Yeah.
And so cool, because I think like having a character that can teleport opens up some really cool possibilities.
It
like,
does.
Times when he would like throw, Ritsu or Teru up, and then he would be where they were and he would kick them.
Yeah.
Like it was really cool how it was done, and it definitely came across in a way choreography wise that worked better, animated.
The thing I like is like it's still like, so something I really love and like made me fall in love with the series is how it tried to like go away from shonen tropes and was like, these kids shouldn't be fighting, and like you can see that from like how hard it is to watch the Koyama and Mob fight in season 1. And like this season still kind of has that feel in this episode.
Yeah, I think the Ritsu and Shimazaki scene definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's still like hard to watch, and like like these characters shouldn't be doing this, but it got to a level where it's like you understand that like at this point in the narrative, there's nothing else that they can do. So it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's it has that same moral compass, but like it's like explained.
I think we kind of get to a point where like the stakes are so high that like we do cheer on Mob to like go and like kick some ass at this point, which is like maybe not not kind of in line with like what I guess the moral was in like season 1, where it's like it's okay to run away, but that's also kind of what this season is about, is like sometimes you have to take action, sometimes you have to be mean,
sometimes you have to be rude.
So I think like when Mob goes against Toichiro, we're like kick his ass, like do not run away,
and it's like it's the same with like later in the episode where Teru finally gets his footing back and he gets the upper hand against Shimazaki moment. It really is like a cheerful moment, because it's like go Teru, and it's like, and the thing is like you're still cheering for the kids is the thing, and but you are cheering for them to like fight, as opposed to season 1 where it's just harder to watch.
Where we're like, run away,
right, exactly,
and now we're like, get
out of there, and it still kind of boils down to that, because like next episode, Reigen's just going to be like, I'm a terrible master. I shouldn't have let you done this. I know.
You shouldn't have let him go in alone.
But anyway, let's talk about Ritsu being like, what does he say? The fun life thing.
Oh, yeah. This was just something that I was kind of wondering looking at the translations of this scene, because I just felt like Ritsu saying like, I won't let anyone take away my chance to live a fun life. Yeah. Just didn't really hit very hard. I just feel like it's just so like as an English translation, I'm like, okay. And I just did look back at what the manga translation was, and it was, I won't let anyone take away my chance to live happily or something, or to live an enjoyable life. There were like a few different ways that it was translated. So, and like it all kind of means the same thing, but I guess I get very hung up on like the particular word choice, which is probably not the best thing when you're watching an anime that's been translated, because obviously
they might change the translation again, because they've done that a little bit.
It's not going to be like perfect,
right?
Since it's not the original language, but
I kind of understood what they were doing.
I got what they were doing, but I just felt like it didn't. I was like, I don't feel like that doesn't mean much.
Yeah, it still hit me though, and I was like, damn, Ritsu.
He wants to have fun.
Ritsu, we're back at it again with the feels. He just wants to have a good life.
Yeah, I feel like saying like a good life almost would have been more impactful than saying like a fun life.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, they might change the subtitles later that's true. And I don't know what the exact Japanese translation is. Yeah,
I would imagine something that kind of means all of those things, like good and fun and happy and enjoyable and whatever.
Probably. But yeah.
Yeah, Mob takes a strong anti-shoplifting stance.
I love those scenes so much.
This bootlicker.
Stop! He knows it hurts the common man.
I know, I'm kidding. No, it's a small business. He wants to defend.
It's a small business,
if
and
you were shoplifting at, like, Walmart, he wouldn't care.
Oh, yeah, who cares about Walmart? But if you're shoplifting at, like...
This is the corner store.
Yeah, a smaller corner store.
And it's, like, Ritsu.
The employees, like, get... punished for it.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But that was like my initial, I remember like texting you when I was reading the manga, I texted a cap of that where he's like, no shoplifting, and I was like, this bootlicker. Stop! And you yelled at me.
They got rid of the, when he like sprays those fucking pop can at the guy. Very upset about that. Honestly, all these kind of scenes together kind of, I know they did it because of time, but it does kind of bring out like how Bones...
But that would have taken like half a second to have him just flip that open and have it spray a guy.
I feel like Bones really does take out some of the more rawer mob scenes.
We go,
more raw mob scenes. I feel like.
I think that's true, but also him walking towards those guys and cracking concrete
that was
under
good.
His feet. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was good.
That, I don't really, I don't remember exactly what happened at that part in the manga, but I was like, what is Mop gonna do to those guys?
Yeah, I don't know. He was like walking up to them and he's like, I have a plan, but I don't know what it is.
He's like, I'll teach you not to use your power, as he's like, about to use his power to beat up people.
Right.
Like, okay.
And during that scene,
Reigen, come get your son.
Right. Someone come get this feral child. And during that scene too, God, when they like did the percentage tick
on the black screen.
Yes,
that me,
was
I think,
so good.
Really kind of hit home with how impactful they can make things and like use like the different medium to a full extent with using like the sound effect that at this point
that
we know to associate with it, that they can just do it with a black screen or they could do it without actually showing the percentage increase. And I hope that they do more of that, because I was just like, oh shit,
that was so
it was really
good.
cool.
That was a really cool moment, because like you said, we know that sound is like the ticking up of the percentage, and like, you know,
and we don't need to know exactly what his percentage is to know that it's like
they've already done so much with like like the animation part of the medium, so I really hope they do more of the sound design.
Yeah.
And they kind of have this a lot this season. You know, with like the stuff like the music when Mob finds the house on fire and stuff.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, they've had a lot of really cool.
Yeah, so I hope to see more of that stuff because it's super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then the return of Mogami.
Yeah.
Which was a very, like, speaking of good animation.
Oh my god, yeah.
This whole episode was, like, nonstop. Yeah. Like, just like, whoa, this looks really good. And this is why maybe a few scenes and other episodes didn't look quite up to snuff. Because, like, ooh.
This is, like, where it was all going.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, just, like, the different, like, animation style from Mogami. Where it just looks really,
how
really
they kind of use, like, his aura to, like that texture and, like, the red and black to kind of, like, form him
like,
in a way that's monster. Like you can tell that it's him even though he looks pretty different, because like in the manga at that point he looks almost sort of unrecognizable in a way.
So too, yeah. I feel like, and this is like my whole like gripe with the entire World Dom arc, I feel like the Mogami scene could have like lasted longer or been paced differently, but at the same time I don't know how they would have done it differently.
Or to bring him back in any way afterwards.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I guess, although, because you always, like, kind of talk about how he said, like, I'll be back.
Yeah, he says, like, I'll be back or something, or Dimple says it, and then, like, nothing ever happens with Mogami.
And I don't think in this scene he said that.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, so maybe they were like, oh, he never comes back, and they, like, just took out that line.
I swear to God, Mogami himself in the manga says, like, I'll be watching over you, or something like that, and just never comes back.
Yeah,
so
it is kind of interesting.
They could have been, like, they were like, hey, you know, when you never did anything more with Mogami, and he was like,
oh shit, you're right.
He's like, oh fuck, I forgot about him.
Like, I'm sure it was like intentional to not bring him back, but there is kind of that moment when like Dimple's like, oh, is he gone for real now? Like they don't really know like what. It's unclear what happened.
Right. Which I'm fine with that, like with how Dimple said it. But I remember reading the manga and I was like, oh, Mogami might be back. And then I finished it and I was like,
you kind of expect that maybe he will come back in some way.
And which is, like, fine. Like, I'm fine with Mogami not coming back because I feel like he
wouldn't have had a place in, like, Chapter 100.
No, he wouldn't.
In the way that some of the other villains do.
Yeah, you're right.
I think this is sort of the scene that would have been sort of, like, the resolution of his little arc, is the way that he and Mob maybe have kind of learned from each other.
Right.
In a way. Like, he shows mercy on Minagishi. Mob learns that maybe he needs to be tough sometimes. Yeah. So it's like, that wraps up.
Yeah, it does.
That wraps things up pretty well.
And the thing is, Mogami is an important character for Mob's growth, and like I really do like the scene where he's like,
it's a great scene.
Yeah, before he's always like, you need to be mean all the time. Yeah. And he's like, no, fuck that. And now he's like, well, maybe you should be some of the time. And he's like, I'll think it over as I walk to this tower. And I noticed that, like, my best friend is beat up by this blind dude.
I will.
That I will also.
And my brother has also been.
And my brother is also beat up and half his sleeve is gone. He looks like, I really wanted Mob to say something like, did you do that yourself? You trying to get muscles? Look like you have muscles, Ritsu? Nice style.
Bully his brother as soon as he thought he was dead, Rissa.
Okay, but that's peak like siblinghood, thinking the other's dead, seeing them again, and immediately
they're not like they don't have that kind of like rapport though, because
you're right
because
they're so repressed.
They have such a like a tense and sort of like relationship where they can't talk about their feelings.
When Ritsu said he couldn't start he was afraid to start like normal bickering fights with Ma because of him blowing up. He meant that he was afraid he couldn't make like a meme stance at him in the middle of the high school or something, like in the hallway. Because
like, I just want to text memes to you. Like normal brothers.
I just wanted to fight over the Xbox controller like normal brothers.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what it is, though. Is like really you did want to just have a normal kind of sibling relationship where you can have like, you know, stupid little fights.
Right.
And they never got to have that because Ritsu was worried he was gonna, like, fucking kill him.
This podcast just turned into, like, Ritsu loving hours.
Yeah, well, it's real. I mean, this was a real Ritsu loving episode, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, because it did turn into that, where Ritsu is just, like, terrified of his brother, and that's where Sho comes in, because he's like, you're terrified of your brother, aren't you? And Ritsu's like, yeah.
Ritsu's like, yeah, maybe so.
He's like, maybe so what's this about your dad, huh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, not me.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally the thing, is that when Mob does go... go berserk or go apeshit, depending on whichever word you want to use. Ritsu feels like he has to stop him.
Right, and he feels he has to stop him by sacrificing himself. Yeah, and he's like, this is all I have to offer. And then he's like, actually, fuck that.
Nissan, this is all that I have.
I know.
He says, I'm sorry, Nissan. He knows. Oh
I know. Anyway,
we'll cry about Ritsu later, maybe.
Anyway, let's talk about Sho.
Let's talk about Sho.
Well, first he, like, runs up the stairs, and Hattori's like...
Sho was so good.
Hattori's like, trying to get past me and my forge road.
Yeah, Hattori did not put up a strong fight.
Not try.
Why is that guy in the super fight? Is he pulling any weight here?
Because Sho couldn't figure out how to stop the autoplay when he's doing video presentations.
You mean Tochiro? Sho.
Did I?
Yeah.
Tochiro can't stop it. And Hattori's like, here, just press this button. And he's like, do you want to be part of the super fight?
He literally just showed up. He was part of, like, the IT. He was, like, an IT tech guy who, like, showed up to help him turn on a projector at a meeting. And he was like, hey.
Yeah, he's like, hey,
I have a Super 4, but I feel like Super 5 just sounds better.
He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And, like, Hattori's, like, 19, and he's, like, in, like, computer programming classes at the community college, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Tochiro's like, don't you want to, like, take over the world? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Am I gonna get credits? Does this count as an internship?
Does this count as college credits?
And he's like, yeah, I'll sign off on it.
Tochiro's like, I'll pay for your degree. And Tochiro's like, done and done. Yeah. Where do I sign up? Okay, honestly, we just invented
I stand Hattori now.
Like, backstory.
Yeah. I think this is canon.
It is.
I see no reason why it's not canon.
But then Tochiro looks at the video credit and he's like, you went out there in the steppes with just, like, 4 robots. And you were like, yeah, I'll take this boy down.
He's like,
you're an idiot.
You're fired.
College credits revoked.
Yeah.
Scholarships revoked. Go finish college. Anyway, Sho comes
so
up
good.
and he's like, hey, Pops, it's showtime.
It's showtime, Pops. Just, he's so, like, he just wants to be, like, a little action hero. It's so sad.
The thing is, Sho feels such responsibility, for his dad, and it breaks my heart.
And it is kind of one of those things of people of sort of like the meta, like, nature of the show, where, like, Sho, the character, is sort of like internalizing the trope of that he has to be like the hero.
Right. No,
and
absolutely.
He's responsible. He's like, I have to do this,
Right. No, absolutely, because he does feel responsible for it, even though he's like a child. He's younger than Mob.
I know. He's 13.
And like, he's such a
justice prevails.
Right, justice prevails. I love him so much. But
a little premature.
Just a little 13-year-old boy. I've been storing this for 3 months.
I know.
Tochiro's like, you are like a little baby.
Yeah,
watch
you're
this.
Literally a little baby.
Right.
I've been storing it for 20 years. It's so sad because it really is just this tragic moment where he feels like he's been preparing for so long for this, and like that really kind of shows his age, that he's like 3 months, like I've been preparing for 3, that's such a long time, I'm 13, and his dad is like, I've been doing this longer than you've even been alive.
I hate Tochiro too, because he's like, as soon as the show is like, I'm going to pee, he's like, you idiot, you should have done this when you were pretending to be with me still. And Sho's like, don't, I'm not looking for your critical, like, you're Sho critical.
You could have done better trying to kill me.
Yeah, he's like, you could have done this when you were like, I don't know, a baby.
You were 5, yeah. Why did you wait so long to make a move?
Right, like, don't you shut the fuck up challenge. So then Serizawa
shows up, and I just kind of realized watching this scene in the anime that it's such a perfect setup for when he saves Reigen, because we kind of get used to that, seeing the smoke clear and the umbrella, and it kind of establishes that like he sort of has a like defender role, and that he can like take a lot of power like that. So I was like, oh shit, like that's so good, because then like it's a little bit like it's still surprising when we see that he saved Reigen, but it's not like out of the blue. It's been
I definitely was not expecting it in the manga, but like you said, it's not like an ex machina at all.
Yeah,
like, it's very much set up and established.
Yeah,
which
and
that's what's
that's what's so good about it.
Yeah, his scene was changed a bit from the manga.
Yeah, we were gonna look at it. We forgot to look at it before we started recording this.
Basically, he just kind of has like more dialogue and like
they cut out quite a bit.
Yeah, to be honest, one didn't really have like a set character for Serizawa at the beginning, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it does seem like we were kind of talking about this week with some other friends, but it seems like he, like, perhaps what one did was he wrote this sort of villain, like redeemed villain character, as he so often does.
Yeah.
And he maybe didn't intend for him to like stick around and become part of the main cast.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't play like that big of a role in the rest of the manga. Like, I love Serizawa to death, obviously.
Right.
But it does kind of seem like his only maybe real role is that he gives
people to
he gives well he gives Reigen a reason to not like rely on Mob, because he has like someone who has powers and who's really strong and who isn't a kid and who can actually like work with him like indefinitely,
right?
And doesn't like have to go to college or whatever. Like, I gotta go.
I feel like, I don't know whether or not he had Serizawa's role planned, but I definitely don't feel like he had his personality planned out just yet.
Yeah, and like he changes like so much throughout his short time. It's only like 10 chapters that he's in the manga, or 12 or whatever.
Right.
So it's like he does change a lot.
Yeah.
But
especially when he first appears and such.
Yeah, and I think that Bones is sort of playing up, I mean, maybe his like naivete a little bit, like we talked about last week. But also just, like, how unwell he is.
Yeah, I feel like they're playing more so up the fact that he is unhinged and he's just, like, he is unwell. Like, he is definitely getting manipulated. And, like...
And that he's really, like, struggling with it and just, like, lying to himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And suffering.
Which I don't mind them playing up at all.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they do keep in the part that he is, like, you know,
that he
aware of this.
Yeah.
And, like, he's like, you know, I was lying to myself.
Yeah, because that's so important. Is he was aware that they were hurting people.
Right. And, like, the thing is, it's, like, that's super important for, like, Serizawa's character because, you know, Serizawa
then he has something to atone for.
Exactly. Yeah. He has something to atone for, and he's also, like, a perfect parallel to Mob and Reigen as well, where it's like, where Mob was never like really so much like this, and this kind of gets like, he parts away with it in the separation arc when he's like, you know, maybe Master's not always correct.
Yeah, where they sort of have that,
where he's like, you know, exactly, where he's like not necessarily manipulated, because I never would say Reigen like goes all the way to manipulator.
Yeah, but I think that's true.
I feel like he never reaches that level. Like, Mob definitely wouldn't notice, especially at the beginning. And it's the same here, where Tochiro...
he definitely, like, idealizes Reigen.
Exactly. He idealizes Reigen in the beginning, and then he kind of realizes, you know, he has flaws. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with Serizawa, where he idolizes, not only idolizes Tochiro, but Tochiro is using him completely and manipulating him completely to where his worldviews get warped.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect... And there's supposed to be a parallel to Mob and Reigen as well. And Serizawa's character as a whole is supposed to be a parallel to Mob.
Right. It's this sort of like dark parallel. And especially,
it really is like a dark version.
They met at the same time.
Right, like, they did.
Like three years before Mob Psycho begins is when Reigen and Mob met. And it's when Tochiro and Serizawa met. I almost said Tochiro and Suzuki. Tochiro and Serizawa met.
Yeah, exactly.
So... Yeah, it's, like, such an exact parallel. And also, I've always kind of thought, too, that, like, Serizawa, when he went into his room, so it was when he was around, like, 12, is around the same time that Mob went to Reigen.
Yeah. Exactly. Serizawa is very much not the ideal, but it's very much what Mob could have been, very easily. And, like...
If he hadn't had someone like that.
And a lot of the characters are supposed to be... Tochiro's also supposed to be kind of that idea where Mob could have ended up like this.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the characters
are. Teru's the same way. Mob could have had the same personality as Teru, but since they're the same age, it doesn't hold that same impact. But like you said, around the time Mob sought help for Reigen, and if Reigen turned him away, or if Reigen didn't give him...
Or if Reigen was a bad
person, and Mob didn't automatically cling to him, and Reigen didn't actually care about him, Mob definitely could have turned into what Serizawa could have been.
Yeah, because he was so afraid of his powers.
Exactly.
And he could have done the same thing and, like, locked himself away.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes, like, their 100% friendship so meaningful, because Serizawa is like, you're like me. And that's when he realized, oh, I know! And I love Serizawa as a character, but So, it's good. It's good writing.
It's good writing.
It's good writing, because not only is Tochiro, like, a parallel to Reigen, but he's also a parallel to Mob.
Yeah.
And to what Mob could have been as well. And that's what Ritsu fears.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Emo.
Anyway, but yeah.
Back to the Shimazaki fights.
Yep.
Sort of the main part of it when everybody else gets involved. It's so good, and I kind of like the detail when Shimazaki is saying to the scars that their scars aren't like a sign of their like bravery or something, but like a mark that they're like defective products or whatever he says. I just love that because it shows like Tochiro's like his like world's view is so based on like hierarchy, and like whoever has the most power is like superior and like better to everyone else, like just because they have the most power. So he was like, telling that to the Super Five and telling them that that they're better than the scars, and the scars are better than whoever else, and those are better than regular humans. So just kind of like setting up this like hierarchy, and then he's of course the best of them all.
Right. No, I agree.
And it's one of the things that I like the most about Mob Psycho, because I think that when people say like Mob is the most powerful of them all, they're totally missing the point.
Right.
I don't think he is. Like, Mob is not the most powerful. I don't think. Like, Toichiro is probably, like, as far as just sheer power goes.
By sheer power goes.
He is more powerful. But that doesn't matter.
Right, that's the thing. Psychic powers don't matter. What matters is if you're a good person.
Right, because Mob is able to beat these people in other ways by using his emotions. Like, we don't know if he's more or less powerful than, like, Serizawa, because they don't really, like, fight all out.
Yeah, they don't.
They use their emotions and they talk to each other.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, too, is, like, I mean, psychic powers in this world are fueled by emotions. That much is, like, demonstrated with Mob.
Yeah.
And, like, he's super powerful.
Oh,
but the thing is, he never relies on that to finish these fights. And, like, before, like, the whole point of this arc is before he would rely on kindness. He would rely on Reigen, like, showing these characters that they can change. But Mogami's like, sometimes people cannot change just because you tell them they should.
Yeah.
And maybe they need something rougher than kindness.
Yeah.
And Mob, instead of turning to his powers, he turns into other ways of talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right. And then he's still in the end, like, even though he kind of, like, starts out, like, the boss fight part of this, that'll be, like, next episode with, like, I think the first is like 100% anger or whatever.
I think
he's just
like,
we're done talking.
We're done
Some
talking.
people only learn through pain is very clearly based on what he just learned from Mogami. But he's
also seeing Tochiro about to kill Reigen.
How does he end it, Rissa?
He ends it with kindness.
100% kindness. So
which also shows Mogami that like he still can end it with
even though he learned that sometimes you have to be tough, he still ends it with kindness.
I know. I love Mob so much.
Oh my god.
He's such a
baby
good
boy.
Right. And I agree when people say like, well, Mob's the strongest. It's like, who?
Yeah.
That's not the point.
And also like Mob doesn't want to be, and also like the part of him that is the strongest, like you could probably say that like his, triple question mark state is probably more powerful than anyone else.
Yeah, but
that's not a positive thing.
That's not
a
positive thing. Like, that's like his repression.
Yeah, that's something that he needs to like work out.
Right. But yeah, I agree. And like it just goes to show how Mob's mindset of his own powers and how his powers reflect his life is very much different from how Tochiro reflects his own powers and Mob and lifestyle.
Yeah.
So yeah. Teru. Oh my god.
I love Teru.
So I was kind of worried about this fight scene because I thought it was going to be super hard to watch. Like it kind of was hard to read in the manga, and it was like, and I thought it was going to be super difficult.
Beat up for a while.
Yeah, but
which he did. I mean, seeing him get his face smashed through a car.
Yeah, that was
tough. Like, oh shit.
I feel like it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be though, because well, for one, I knew like that they were going to be okay, and that I was just waiting for Reigen's scene to come.
Yeah, it's just like, all right.
Yeah, but also I felt more fast-paced, too.
Yeah, and I think, like, the way that it was kind of framed, you didn't really feel, like, the impact of every punch. Yeah. Like, for instance, in the Mob and Koyama fight, where, like, every single punch just, like...
hurt.
Really hit.
Yeah.
And was more so, like, showing, like, the blood and the whatever, you know. But...
So I don't think they use the same animator.
Animator.
But, I mean, I feel like it still has the same impact. And like we talked about before, maybe that morality of kids shouldn't be fighting isn't as kept as it is.
Yeah. But it's so satisfying when Teru figures it out and he catches his fist and then he like knows he's gonna. He's so.
I love Teru. He's so smart. He's a smart boy, and the laugh was so good.
It's a good laugh.
And I just my favorite thing about like Teru after he meets Mob and like kind of grows from Mob is like every single person he meets, he. Like, we joke about how humble he is, but he really is humble because he's like, even I could defeat you. Like,
you're just an ordinary man.
Right.
Even I could defeat you.
Right, and, like, he really thinks of him, he brings on, like, Mob's morality, he brings on Reigen's morality of, like, I'm a commoner now.
Yeah,
I'm just really a commoner, but I can do this.
Take that to heart.
Right, even I could defeat you. And you can tell Teru still very much highly looks up to Mob, and that's his whole character. And, like, part of me always thinks of that line as, like, him being like, Mob could easily defeat you, and I'm trying really hard to as well. And, like, even I can do it. But, yeah. And then Ritsu gets a hit in.
Ritsu, I love that.
Good job, little brother.
Yeah, good job, little bro.
I love Teru always calling Reigen little bro. It's so funny.
Or Ritsu.
What did I say?
You said Reigen, which would be hilarious. He'd be like, hey, little bro, and he'd be like, I'm much older
like,
than
I'm
you.
28, but okay.
What?
I am half your age.
Twice your age.
I am twice your age.
Getting all kinds of things.
I can't.
It's okay.
I can't talk.
It's fine.
I'm having a stroke.
I'm having a stroke. Then we go into like just the best scene where Shimazaki focuses in and is like, I'm only gonna focus on espers. And I just love how it sets up to sort of you're expecting this fight between Mob and Shimazaki.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit.
But again,
this is gonna be so badass. But then
Reigen, of course,
just casually walks up to him. And it's so funny because he has no idea what's going on.
Reigen?
Yeah.
He never does.
He never does. Like, I kind of wish that they had kept this, like, there's this panel of him in the manga after he punches Shimazaki where he's thinking to himself, like, I have no idea what just happened, but I sure got lucky.
Oh my god.
And that's, like, his... everything that ever happens to him.
Reigen's entire character is him going in fist a-blazing, like, ready to protect kids.
He's like, I'm just
lucky.
Throw some punches and see how it goes, and sometimes it goes okay, and sometimes it goes really not okay.
Reigen flies by the seat of his pants, and it's, like, show. It's like, he's like, oh, Teru's getting beat up. Time to beat up this guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna stroll in here. And
right.
He probably just showed up. He didn't know how things were going.
Right.
He's like, I'm just gonna try punching this guy, I guess.
Yeah. I love him so much.
God, it's so funny. I also love just the whole thing of him yelling self-defense, and the narration is like one of Reigen's special moves where if he's not sure whether it qualifies as self-defense, he yells it out loud anyway.
Just in case. I fucking love him. That scene kills me. And then Mob shows up and Reigen just says, oh, Mabu.
Yeah, that's my favorite, is when it kind of goes back into Shimazaki's like internal monologue, but you can hear Reigen in the back and go, oh, Mabu.
Yeah, he just like every time he just sees Mob, he's like, oh, Mabu.
Like in the exact same tone that he always uses.
Right. And so I was waiting for this line for like ever, because I love this line when Shimazaki gives up and he's like, I just wanted to have fun, and Mob's like, fun? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Let Mom say fuck.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the first panel.
Yeah, I'm like pretty sure that when Rissa was reading the manga in like, I guess last summer,
like August or so.
Yeah, you were texting me some things just sort of as like reaction images, and I didn't even know what it was from.
No, this one was for I remember specifically. I think you were trying to go to Pride, and you were like, oh, I don't think I can go, and I said,
are you kidding me? And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, that's just my entire persona is I just send memes to people from series they've never even seen.
Yeah, so I was happy to see the first mob that I saw.
The first mob you ever saw.
The first mob I ever saw.
And then I think you said something and I sent the stop it one.
Yeah,
and then you sent it back to me, but like, I think like switched or something, or you just sent it back.
No, I just sent it back because I like saved it and I'm like, I'm going to use it against you.
Super funny. But yeah.
I don't know who this boy is, but I'm gonna send it back.
But someday you're gonna love him.
Yeah.
I don't know who this child is. Mom finds out that Ritsu's alive.
Yeah, Ritsu's fine. I love the moment when Dimple is like, man, we were lucky. And Reigen's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Dimple. Yeah, I know.
But they have this little, like, rapport between Reigen and Dimple now, which I really like when Reigen is like, oh, I'll be counting on you to make sure he's safe. And
yeah. Nice. It is a nice, like, parallel looking back at, like, I think in Mogami when he's like, how can you trust him, Mob?
And now he knows, like, he's trustworthy.
Yeah. And then Mom's like, I'm gonna go beat the boss, dude. And they're all like, what? No, we gotta go with. And he's like, you'll only be in my way.
I love that.
I know.
He's like, I know this might be hard to hear, but
he's like, he's like, no offense, but
y'all suck.
Y'all suck. I thought it was an interesting choice to have like Ritsu, Teru, and Dimple colored in at that scene, but the other characters are like kind of saturated.
Or
like,
unsaturated.
Yeah, they're like, or opposite of that.
The opposite of saturated.
Unsaturated.
That's because they don't matter.
Yeah. They're not in the theme song.
They're not.
They don't do a cool jig in the theme song.
They don't do a cool dance.
Yeah.
Not part of the main five. The big five.
Is it five? Reigen, Dimple, Ritsu, Mob, Teru. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'll see your super five and raise you the big five.
The big five.
It's Reigen and his three sons and a ghost.
3 sons and his ghost friend.
His ghost friend.
His domestic partner, the ghost.
How can he put him as a
queer platonic relationship?
Shut the fuck up.
There's so many things we should cut out.
Yeah, that definitely is going out. How does Reigen put Dimple as like a dependent on his tax forms?
Reigen claims Dimple as a
I've been trying to say this joke for the past 5 minutes. You kept cutting me off.
Really?
I was trying to say that anyway.
Okay. Oh boy.
He tries to take him as like a dependent.
Anyway, so then it goes into the credits, and I was totally expecting this episode to end. I mean, like the way that it did, which was when Serizawa appeared, but they just did that as a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So I was like, oh, what? No Serizawa? But then, yes, we got
Serizawa time.
Serizawa.
Yeah, Serizawa really is giving some Undertale vibes because he's like, this is a bad time, and my thought immediately went to like, you're about to have a bad time, and I was like,
oh
no. So next week,
no man, this oh god, oh fuck,
I can't do
like
this.
just thinking about everything that's gonna be in this episode. Dare I say best episode of Mob Psycho?
It hasn't even come out yet.
It's the best though.
Well, we knew we were gonna because it's gonna have 100% friendship, so it's gonna have all of Serizawa's like
that whole thing.
I can't wait till Serizawa's like, there, that's my backstory. Didn't it make you cry or whatever he fucking says? I fucking love him.
Moved you to tears, didn't it?
Yeah, I fucking love him.
Like, okay, weirdo. Like, who are you? Mom's like, I don't know who you are.
And of course, Prime Minister.
Oh yeah, that's the Prime Minister?
Wow, I met the Prime Minister. Mom's like, what the fuck?
Serizawa.
Serizawa's such a dumbass.
He really is kind of a
Everyone always says, like, Reigen's the moron with them, but really, Serizawa's also a moron.
Yeah, they're both morons.
I love him.
Let's be real. Nothing wrong with that.
And it's definitely gonna have, like, Mob versus, like, at least the beginning of Mob versus Tochiro.
Yeah, like, their conversation and where Sho is around, and Mob forgives Sho for what he did. Wait, does Mob even know that it was... He doesn't even know that it was Sho.
Yeah, because Sho tells him.
But yeah, but like when he goes in, he doesn't know. Like he he both like finds out that it was Sho and forgives him within like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I can't wait to put a screen cap of like when Mob is like, when I find them, I'll never forgive him. Next to understandable.
Yeah,
have a good day to Sho.
That's fair. What does he say? Like you had your reasons or something.
Yeah. He's like, I forgive you. I think Sho even says like, wow, you forgive me. He's like, I mean, yeah, you just got beat up by your dad.
Like, so, I can see.
He's like,
you're going through some shit.
You're going through some shit.
Fine.
Some people set Mob's house on fire to cope.
Yeah. Another Dimple Mob appearance. In fact, the final Dimple Mob ever.
Okay, so they have dropped the ball on Dimple. Not really, but okay. So they didn't have Best Fucking Feeling.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite panels.
They didn't have Gun Dimple.
Yeah.
So they really need to have. That's some dangerous shit you're babbling. Like, please, Bones, please.
They will have that.
They have
that.
to.
And then also like Dimple getting drop kicked out of the window.
Drop kicked out the window.
Is so funny.
It really is.
And that has to be in there because that's how he gets back down and he's like, there's some shit going on up there, and then Reigen goes in, of course.
Yeah, and Reigen's like, what the fuck?
Reigen's like, glasses, give me your gun.
Yeah.
I'm going in.
This gun is loaded after my boy.
I can't believe they put Reigen with a gun, or ray gun, if you will.
Ray gun, if you will.
Into the trailer.
Yeah.
I screamed. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, I know. I love, like, the sun, like, set lighting with it, like... Can't wait for Reigen to have his life saved by Serizawa and like sunset lighting.
Sunset lighting.
I know.
The whole scene with Reigen is like one of my favorite scenes on the entire.
Oh, I know. Just like I'm a terrible master, and then he's like, I can easily brute strength, bitch.
Brute strength, bitch.
Ah!
Prayer circle for
brute strength, bitch.
Please come through, Crunchyroll.
Please come through.
I know it doesn't really change anything the way that they translate it, but it's still like I just want to read those words.
Please.
I want to read those words.
Oh, I can't wait.
On the bottom of the screen. That's all I want. And plus, if they translate it that way, there's a good chance that the dub will translate it that way.
Prayer circle for Funimation to let Reigen say bitch. Let him say bitch. Please. But yeah, I mean, that whole scene is really good.
Oh, it's so good. Just like all of just like how Reigen is like so fucking angry. Like he's just fuming, but he doesn't like show it. Like he keeps it under wraps until he tries to punch him. But he kind of like tries to do his usual like weaseling his way out of it thing. And it doesn't work.
Nope.
It doesn't work this time.
And then he almost dies because of it.
he almost dies. But he's like, yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
When haven't I almost died?
Guess I'll die. True.
And then
and just so you think it's gonna end with?
Oh yeah, we have a disagreement about how it's gonna end. I think it's gonna go through when we think Reigen might be dead. He's not dead. Mob flips out.
My favorite Mob scene.
Yeah, that some people only learn through pain.
Yeah. People who don't think about others tend to piss them off.
And I think like from that like last clip of the teaser, it looks like shit's getting pretty real with like Toichiro as far as like the way that he's fighting, and I feel like that's like part of like the main fight. Although I don't know, that could be something else, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I kind of feel like it's gonna go into like sort of the beginning of the fight and possibly cut away at the part when like Mob sort of like draws him away from everybody else, because there's a little part where he's like tries to fight like Serizawa and like uses him as a battery or whatever.
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so like there's that little part, and then eventually Mob is just like, it's you and me, let's go, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
in the sky.
And just like kind of gets him away from everybody else so he can like actually fight him. And there's that great moment when like Toichiro is like, oh, that's what, like, oh, now you're gonna fight me for real, now that there's no one around that you could hurt besides me. And Mob's like, yeah, you got it, man.
Yeah.
So I think like possibly cutting it there would work. Is kind of difficult, like how they're gonna cut this, which is why I'm like, hour-long finale? I know they're not going to, but
I think
they're not going to because that's what the episode is called. But anyway,
right. I think they're gonna cut off with pretending Reigen's dead again.
I think that would be very funny. But I just think with like one more episode, I mean that doesn't really.
They did it last season.
I know, but they already cliffhangered Mob's family being dead this season, and I feel like that's all they can get away with as far as like having really intense cliffhangers that I feel like people now at this point, no one's gonna fall for it.
Yeah, I mean the manga itself ended on it like that.
Like one of the chapter installments ended of chapter 90, like 90.3 or whatever, 90 point whatever.
Well, it was still an update, and people had to wait for the next update.
Yes.
But regardless, I am very, very much excited for the beginning of that chapter where Mob stands up and Torchiro's like, "Oh, you finally stood up," and the look on his face is like literally my favorite panel. Like holy shit, that's like one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's like the best page.
Everyone's always like, "Wow, does Mob even care about Reigen?" Mob reacts like
pulls up this panel
when he thinks Reigen's dead.
Yeah,
like I need to meet all of you in the fucking pit.
Yeah, like we're gonna
put up your dukes. Mob cares about Reigen. He goes sicko mode twice when he thinks Reigen's dead. Yeah. Fucking at me. I'm rolling my sleeves up.
Yeah, she is rolling her sleeves up.
It's Reigen protection hours, baby.
Reigen protection squad.
Okay.
Me and Mob are 100% protect Reigen.
Me and Mob is the CEO of Reigen Protection Squad. All the kids are also
Reigen is like full protect Reigen mode like all the time, and I love it. Like in this episode when he was like, "Oh, that guy's really dangerous. You should get away from him."
Oh yeah.
And then like he does the same thing in like season 1 when he was like, "Oh, you're a spirit specialist. You
don't do this." Yeah.
And then of course in what'll be possibly next episode or the one after, when he says to Serizawa like can you take Master away from here, like it's dangerous.
Right. Mob, I love it because they're both very protective of each other, and Mob is very protective of Reigen because he knows Reigen can't deal with this shit.
Yeah, he's like, get this guy out of here.
Get this weak ass out of here. Yeet. Yeet Reigen out the window.
I'll see you afterwards. We'll get some ramen, but please, just let me handle this.
He's like, "Master, please, you are going to be in the way."
Like Reigen shows up and he's like, "You did well. We'll get some takoyaki when this is over." And Mom's like, "That's my line."
Right. Mom's then, gives him a stink eye while on the ground.
After Reigen tries his best and gets his ass handed to him, Mom's like, "You did well. Now please get out of here.
Yeah,
we'll get some ramen later. Right. Just go and sit out there for a minute while I take care of business."
Can you please try not to It really is like a self-sacrificing thing because he's like, "Can you please stop trying to self-sacrifice yourself constantly?"
Mom's like, "I know that you feel like you have to die for me, but please don't."
But please don't. Yeah.
Don't appreciate it.
Anyway, really excited for next episode.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
Reigen Protection Squad unite.
Can't wait.
Yeah, me either.
We'll see you then.